The fact that Steve Kerr got his second best player coming off the bench in a playing game is absolutely diabolical. It is absolutely insane. They made this adjustment in mid-season to have Klay come off the bench and say, all right, let's see if he can build his rhythm and not have so much pressure and let Kuminga do his thing a little more. Rest of the second half of the season, practically, right? But now you want to say, let's have Kuminga come off the bench in this playing game. You know what that tells me? You know what that tells Kuminga, tells the team? Especially Kuminga as a player going forward. Even though you gave me this opportunity in the regular season, you still don't trust me. You still don't trust me. Despite the fact of anything that just transpired in the season, you still don't trust me. Future Metro booming on some shit. You got to understand, man. You got to understand. Kuminga is literally the second best player, second most gravity. So why would you have him come off the bench and play 27 minutes? 27 minutes, bro. Really? Crazy work right there. Crazy work. And you deserve to lose just by doing some dumb shit like that. And you got Wiggins doing all this crazy shit. So I'm about to show y'all Kuminga's skill as a whole, right? Understand, Kuminga really is like that, right? He's got crazy gravity. You gotta understand, even though Kuminga gets guarded with a gap like Draymond, the greatest difference is the fact that he is actually a rim threat. He's getting this gap because they don't want him to get to the rim. Draymond gets that gap because he got no offensive game. So when Kuminga now gets his first offensive touch and he gets into a mid-range jumper and knocks it down, we got to keep going to him. Because when Steph's not going, Wiggins doing all that sorry shit, Draymond not a scorer, Klay bricking, you know what I'm saying, building a retirement home, we got to go get that shit to Kuminga. And that should be your number 2 option and not your number 3 to 4 or 5. This is a great play by Golden State because just understand the spacing. You got Draymond setting the screen for Chris Paul. You got everybody to that right side now, empty left corner. So now what ends up happening is that once Draymond sets the screen, Kuminga also right here at this left slot. When Draymond rolls, his tag is now Lyles. And Kuminga isn't going to be one of those players who are like, oh, they plugged in. Let me set the line and play into the games and shoot the shot that I know I'm not great at taking. I'm going to get this catch and I'm going to attack the pass. So now once they're stepping out, like Lyles is right here, once he's stepping out after making this tag, thinking I'm going to stay there, I'm already going down and I already ate up all this room. So I get down, pull in land, drop off to Draymond, bucket. Kuminga has gravity as well. And even though he can't shoot, he knows how to work around that. And he could have been able to do that same thing had you just played him 36 minutes, as you should, 38 minutes, 40 minutes, as they should have done. So now, once you actually get Kuminga playing with Steph, you're 2 players with the most gravity. Understand what happens, right? You got Steph as a screener, and he was actually able to get a switch, right? He was actually able to get Sabonis onto him. So understand, how was he even able to get that switch? Why did they make that switch? Because Curry, understanding that he's a shooter, he needs to set good screens, sets a fantastic screen on Sabonis. And now what happens is that if Ellis tries to stay attached to Steph while Sabonis is hit, what's going to happen? Kuminga's going to have a lane to the rim, he's attacking, and now we can't give that up. So they're just going to willingly switch this because you have no other choice unless you want Kuminga to get it too. That's the gravity that he has, was only able to do for 27 minutes out of 48. So now Steph is even able to actually go and attack a mismatch, right? And even though it didn't even result in a bucket, he was just able to get a switch and at least get something that's higher quality than having to go through a blitz and having the ball be in Draymond Green's hands in the corner to shoot a 3 where that's what the defense wants him to do. Now watch how Kuminga's about to play this game in layers and how much gravity and how good he really is as a player if you let him rock, right? Notice, he gets this catch right here, jab, Sabonis damn near fell. That just shows you how much of a threat he is to go downhill and how scared they are of that, right? And now switch right here by Keon Ellis, but understand, right? You switched up on Jonathan Kuminga, you're cooked. Because now I could get by you, and if you break your base, pull-up game. Perfect for his game, perfect for his bag. Because he's a rim threat, and if he could just stop that momentum, good luck, right? Good luck at that point. And now, next offensive possession down. Next possession down, he got Sabonis, right? He's got the same gap. Now, how do you see this gap? Should I pull this from 3 and get baited into that shot? Or should I eat up this gap and get to something I'm comfortable doing? Notice, right? He hit you with a dribble pull-up last time, gets you moving backwards, hezzy pull-up, boom over the top. If he gets that on lock, if he gets this on lock, because they're always going to move back with all these size-ups that go downhill. Pull-up shot, GG's. GG's. He's averaging easy 22 plus per game, at least. And that's on a light note. That's on a light note. And now third possession, right? Back to back to back. Gets the ball off the glass. I see the floor for myself. I make the reads. And notice what happens when he decides to eat up this room with him and Sabonis in the mid-range. Watch Sabonis' movements. Watch. Being at this free throw line, understanding he hit 2 from this area already, notice Sabonis. He steps up because he hit him with a hezzy, because he's hit 2 back-to-back. And now I could get the drive and get into a lane. Boom, float right there off one, bucket off the glass. He has the capacity. It's just that, are you going to let him display that? Are you going to let him play his game? And are you going to let him play through the mistakes? And understand that even though he may take a bad shot or two, he may turn the ball over every now and then, the pluses that he brings outweigh the minuses. Kuminga has the most gravity behind Steph. And so understand these situations, when he gets the ball in the middle, it's like, oh, you got to score this. This is a bucket, easy. But now on Kuminga's part, how can Kuminga get better as a player? Like I said before, add in that goddamn left hand, because now you switching hands with this, and now you can't even lay that because you can't even control your body, and you can't control that hand according to your body. You got to go work on that in the offseason. Now, Kuminga does work on these skills, coming back a different player. When Kuminga's about to go and drive, notice how many eyes he's going to get on him, right? Off a spin move. Boom, 2, 2, 2, 2. Everybody's turned away. All by Kuminga driving to get into the paint. And now Klay is even open. If you wanted to pass to Klay, but you know Klay been bricks. That's why he ended up with a donut. Kicks that to Draymond in the corner. Now Draymond's able to knock that down. You get Kuminga driving to the rim. You saw all the gravity he had, but that he came off the bench and played 27 minutes. I'm going to continue mentioning gravity with Kuminga, especially when playing with Curry, because by having him on the floor, your offense is just 10 times better. 10 times better. Because now notice what happens when you put Steph and Kuminga in a pick and roll, right? With Kuminga as a screener. Notice what Sabonis now has to do. Point to that weak side, because how much of a threat Kuminga is on his role. And so notice Sabonis' pickup point now, right? His pickup point is now right in front of that 3, and he's not hard hedging. He's not even blitzing that at all, right? Because Steph and Kuminga in that pick and roll, and Kuminga's gravity when he gets down to the rim. And so this gives Steph room to now what? Eat up that gap and be able to turn the corner, because Sabonis wasn't so disciplined in getting the ball out of his hands. And now Steph ends up going there and getting fouled. Now with not having Kuminga being on the floor engaged in actions, it's not until 4 minutes left that you realize that you could have had a lot of gravity, a lot of opportunities with this right here. Chris Paul ball handler, Kuminga on the screen, because he's not going to get blitzed, and you got Chris Paul going against the drop coverage with Sabonis. Could have had a lot of scoring opportunities, but it's too little too late, right? And now even with Kuminga, you space the floor the right way, like you'll see the next time, notice what's going to happen, right? When you just simply make these adjustments down the stretch later in the game, right? Now you're down 24. Like I said, too little too late, but you're only realizing this shit with the last 4 minutes of the game where things have already transpired. Kuminga sets the screen, he slips out, Sabonis on a drop, you got nobody on that side to tag, so now Kuminga could just steamroll down the lane, he ends up getting fouled. Gravity crazy, but you don't even realize that to the end of the game. And now for the Golden State Warriors going forward, if I'm Kuminga, I'm saying Steve Kerr and me, because obviously you still don't trust me.